Okay. So, do we have everyone? I think we've got everyone. Ollie's going to do his charge end mid-sesh, because he's a bad person. And otherwise we're Gucci, right?
Indeed.
Yeah. I don't have young Nicholas on cams, but I've got Ollie on cams. Young Nicholas is just a black screen for me. Oh, there we go. Young Nicholas, your hair is so long.
It's not on cam for me.
You got to reconnect, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. No, it's awful. My hair today.
I've got Ollie and young Nicholas.
I've now got nobody.
To appreciate Creed's char pick has changed again. Oh dear.
Char pick for Overcheck? I'm trying to remember.
I feel really left out now that I'm the only person here with really short hair.
In this day and age of post-quarantine?
Yeah, but you know why my hair is short.
Yes. For the Miller baby.
More for the dreaded baldness as well, but...
that's fair.
That's quite long right now.
If I keep it short, then it doesn't show.
Why so quiet?
I'm not sure. Yes, so... Now, full disclosure. 1, I've had a bit to drink. And 2, Benji... Who's that no I heard? And 2, Benji wrote the spec for this campaign. So, at any point, Benji, if I'm completely butchering your initial proposition, do feel free to reach in and say, like, hey, I believe it was supposed to be this. There is a slight chance I may have tweaked it, in which case I will clarify that, but don't feel bad about correcting it.
My thing was an initial pitch.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I'm just saying, like, if it seems like I'm buggering up something that we hadn't talked about me changing...
Well, you moved it. You moved the whole campaign setting for a start.
I only moved it from, like, southwest Yorkshire to North Yorkshire.
Technically, you moved it from Lancashire to Yorkshire, but sure.
That's what I said. Southwest Greater Yorkshire to North Yorkshire.
Yeah, but if we let the Yorkshire lot have their way, southwest Greater Yorkshire would be the Scilly Isles.
God, fucking Greater Yorkshire. We did invite Callum, but he's busy with baby-related things, yeah, which is understandable. Otherwise, it is the year 1919. And the 5 of you are in service to an ancient order, the most noble and ancient order of the Hat, a primarily British Isles-based supernatural society. In the wake of the Great War, the Order of the Hat has found its investigations into the deeper secrets of the supernatural almost spoilt for choice. All 5 of you belong to one of several orders of hunters within the organization. Though not necessarily magical, sorcery and hedge wizardry is encouraged. The 5 of you will particularly be investigating an incident in the North Yorkshire moors, where a local town, at least by some scattered, supernaturally delivered reports, has lost contact with the outside world. The people in the area seem unable to leave, and communications simply cease. They describe only a mysterious nagging sensation. Some even go so far as to call it perhaps a voice, tugging at their consciousness.
Nick, down, Nick, down.
And let's go down in order our player character list, with a mild exemption for Ollie, as he's currently still charge ending. But for everyone else,
I don't think composers game.
Let's hear who we've got and what your role in the organisation is, and what drew you to this hunt. First in the Discord order, Creed. Would you like to give us your character's introduction and any relevant points about, interests?
Well, I'm not going for that voice. I'm Woodrow Tango. Master on occult knowledge and with a strong desire to pursue it. Have a few knickknacks for trying to determine the paranormal and wish only to learn as much about it as possible and catalogue what I can.
Woodrow Tango. Of the notable Tango lineage.
Let's go back in Sydney.
Yes, technically it's an inherited membership. Anyone born into the family, no matter what remote Chilean mountain valley they may inhabit, would... I'm not going anywhere near the rest of that sentence. Next up, young Nicholas. Who is your character?
The legendary Timothy Popejack once more has returned. I say returned in his sequel.
Prequel.
Prequel, sorry, yeah. Sorry, I'm completely not a character at all right now. It's Timothy. It's just after the war. He's freshly lost his arm. I'm assuming everyone remembers Timothy from the last time.
Timothy Popejack spent most of his time manufacturing pocket sand and inept schemes, and as I recall,
being cold often.
Repeatedly getting almost fatally frostbitten, yet somehow managing to pull through with no limbs lost.
That man is a beast. I
think that man is a flasher by today's standards.
You did take your clothes off at the drop of a hat for very little apparent reason.
He was old. He could get away with it. Fine. But he's not old anymore. In his 30s now.
Yes, a founding member of the Grimsby nudist colony.
But yes, he's not quite rich just yet. He's just kind of the war. He's lost his arm freshly, so still wounded, angry at the world for taking his arm, angry at the doctors more for losing an arm. They fucked up the surgery, and is just money hungry at the moment. He's trying to find a way of getting money after he's been fucked over after the war. So.
Fair.
Yes, he's an angry man, just channeling all this rage through this occult knowledge that he's gained as of late. He's slowly getting into it.
And just for my reference, how old is Popejack at this point? You're either 25 or 35, right? I think one of the two.
It's floating around there, around about 30-ish. He was probably about 70 or 80 in the last game, so
you were like 89 in the 70s, right?
89, yeah. So this is 40 years before that. So
70...
50 years before that.
Oh, 50 years before that.
Yes.
54 even, so 89 minus 54... You're 35, in fact.
35!
Nice
so,
and young and spry.
Not just a non-commit... The fact that we could do another prequel set 15 years beforehand and Popejack would still be young enough to play. Growing steadily shitter as time draws backwards. So
we don't do like a World War game with Timothy. I will be very upset.
So that wouldn't be that far back.
Yeah, no, that was the World War I ended last year.
Yeah, but like you could do like a Boer War fucking game with him.
Yeah, go on.
1919, you go 15 years back, so you could go up to 1904, and still be 20 years old. The Boer War is a bit too old.
Oh no, you know what we could do? The Tunguska Explosion.
That was 1904. I don't think
1906. I think.
Okay, sorry, 1906. So I don't think Popejack was at Tunguska, but it's not technically impossible.
Well, you could be investigating what happened.
Is it anything like the Cambrian explosion?
No, it's a giant ass asteroid that hit Russia in 1906, and there have been theories about it.
I knew. I just.
But it's a young Timothy Popejack. He hasn't got his crafting skills.
You're not that young.
Still,
you're going on middle aged. Remember.
Especially for the time.
Having lived through the World War, there is a decent chance you were probably not just a non-commissioned officer, you were probably, given that you're upper class, British, and mid-30s. You were probably at least a captain in World War One.
I think that was his backstory. Yes, no, he wasn't, but he still obviously got injured and whatnot. Lost his arm, and but he's been studying the occult on off for now. He needed to do something with his retirement after the war. It's just come earlier than he expected.
Fair.
And yes, he's just trying to figure out what he's going to do with it.
I mean, I for one am looking forward to the sequel set in the 1980s, where Popa Jack is in his mid to late 90s and still refuses to die. Next up, Benji. Who are you? What are you doing here? What is your interest in the occult? And what drew you to this hunting paranormal unit of the Order of the Hat?
Well, one is Reginald Foxley Smythe, and one is a professional hunter in service to the most ancient and noble Order of the Hat. I'm a tradesman at heart, where others are tradesmen dealing with the production of haberdasheries, the production and acquisition of cloth, materials, guns, etc., etc. I deal with knowledge. I was a foundling for the foundling and brought up by the guild and the order at large. And basically I've been raised as officer's batsman my whole life. My job is to make sure that the gentlemen who make up the vast majority of the order's members are kept safe on their hunts for supernatural knowledge and when they go out to fight the forces of the occult. I too have come back from World War I, where I was mostly tasked with keeping the gentlemen alive.
Read a lot of Jeeves and Worcester. Read a lot of Artemis Fowl, do we?
I wasn't going for Artemis Fowl there. I was going literally for Jeeves and Worcester if he was raised to be a vampire hunter.
If I recall correctly, Jeeves does have... He's not got, like, special combat training, but I think he's trained in some forms of the whoopee choppy.
Yes, indeed. But yeah, imagine him if he was... Basically, it's Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, but it's Jeeves and Worcester.
All I remember about Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter is you and me arguing over the details of VTM lore whilst Callum grew steadily more incensed for an hour and 10 minutes.
Yeah, basically.
Next in the list, Carl. Who's your character?
Sebastian Thornberry, at your service. Can you not hear?
No, I can. I was just doing a terrible Nigel Thornberry impersonation.
Yeah,
Yes.
none of us can really do it.
No, I can't at all.
No, I'm not even going to try. But thank you for immediately going for the appropriate reference.
Well, I fucked up Benji, so I may as well get yours right.
Well, better late than never. Sebastian Thornberry, fixer for the Order of the Hat, 13th generation member. If there is a problem that needs fixing, evidence that needs disappearing, or otherwise bodies that need burning, I am the one that's called.
Entirely fair. No more justification needed than that. And just a speedy check-in, it's an optional. Ollie, do you have a character generated to the point that you could feel comfortable introducing them? If not, don't worry about it.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Not generated, but
you've got the concepts. Yeah.
Enough story fleshed out. So, my name is Holburn Twite. Joined the war at 16, abandoning my post as a mechanic's apprentice and serving as mechanic in the Royal Tank Regiment. After I lied my way onto the battlefield, I saw some shit, some shit that I couldn't explain, and started making inquiries. And that's when a member of the Order of the Hat approached me and offered gainful employment after the war was over, of a sort. And ever since then, I've been using my interest in mechanics, I've been using my interest in mechanical ways and the interaction they can have potentially with the more spiritual denizens that exist out there. Good at making shit.
Jammy Goy, was the Royal Tank
you're quite
Regiment,
young there. Yeah, because the Royal Tank Regiment doesn't exist.
No, 1916. It's been in existence for 3 years.
Yeah, that's what I mean, is at the start of the war, so if he's lying about his age to get in, he's probably quite young.
I was 16 when I joined the war, so I'll be 21 now.
So you were born in 1900.
Yep.
Presumably at...
No, 18... Well, yeah, like 1900, I guess.
Yeah, 1900s. Presumably for narrative convenience rather than contrivance, at the stroke of midnight at the turn of the century.
Well, I'm 21, so if it's 1919.
Oh, 21. Yeah, no, then you'd be 1898. So fuck you. So you wouldn't have been 16 then if you joined. Well, I suppose that depends when you join the war, actually.
Oh, wait.
But he would have been called up almost immediately. Well, I suppose no, he wouldn't have gone He wouldn't have gone conscription. So yeah, maybe 1916 he would have.
Can you tell that Benji and I were in the same GCSE history class?
That didn't go over World War I particularly.
No, but still. So, who's actually the most senior ranked in this little grouping then? Does anyone have more than 2 dots of status in Order of the Hat?
Yes.
Okay. How many dots do you got, Carl?
3.
Does anyone have more than 3 dots in status in Order of the Hat? Doesn't sound like it. Okie dokie. Carl, what is your favourite standard-ish D&D character class?
Wizard.
Wizard, okay. For your icon, for the group as a whole, you have won the Mighty Pug.
Oh. Pick cleric, it's the Scotty dog.
Oh, have you seen the 3D printed Pug Guardsman model?
That sounds amazing.
Before we start, can I make an amends to my curse?
Yeah.
What was your curse?
I get too excited to read when attempting or reading new knowledge.
Okay.
I want to change that to new occult knowledge for the first time, as otherwise I may be unable to read.
Yeah, new occult knowledge is fine. I would say not necessarily for the first time, because if you reinterpret it and go, "Oh, this is so new," that would probably still count. But you're not going to read a signpost and get a little bit too flustered.
Thank you.
Entirely reasonable.
Should we stock up on extra handkerchiefs?
Well, presumably we have an ample supply, so as we are representatives from the ancient and most noble Order of the Hat, itself part of the Guild of Haberdashers.
You did, to be fair, take an entire player character dedicated to butlery. I am inclined to say that anything that could be feasibly transported upon Benji's person will be.
I did also take 2 points of resources, brackets of the Order, so anything pertinent to being in the Order, like haberdashery, I probably have.
I've got 2 resources that are on my fancy-ass suit.
And per the apparently standard sorcerer's configuration, you will receive an enchanted car that does not require petrol to run, which implies that in older days it was an enchanted carriage that does not require horses to run, which would have scared the shit out of people.
I like the idea of just really bad looking holographic horses that don't run, they just stay still.
Yeah, you just hold
a
cardboard.
scarecrow horse.
Has everyone played Magicka?
I have not played Magicka.
Oh, shut up.
What?
I know you played it. I know you played. But you know in Magicka where they have the wooden horses that are just... They look like the old wooden horse... Yeah, we had those attached to our carriages and everyone tried to ignore it.
From a distance, you jiggle it a bit in the wind, it looks fine. So... You will be approaching the area of Tutley without Wold, coming from the north, heading through the southern reaches of Lockwood Forest. Your stated mission is to discover, on behalf of the Order, what the supernatural phenomena in the region is.
I needed to calm you down after.
And...
Yeah.
Who's got the baby talk?
I think it might be Rosie in the background.
It's Rosie in the background.
No, it's like...
What the supernatural phenomena is, and, if possible, to discover either A, how the society can benefit from it, or B, how the society can stop it from causing harm. Either or is considered a completely fine objective to follow. What was the car you wanted, Benji? You had a very specific car in mind.
Christ. I've got this bit.
I've got an image of it.
Yeah, I've got the image. I've got this downloads. It was a Hispanio Suzia. 1919.
Suzia, 1919. Fresh off the lot, freshly enchanted by the Order of the Hat, one of the few spells the Order does reliably well and consistently. A beautiful model. It just about conveniently seats 5 people, with Reginald Foxley Smythe driving, Timothy Popajack sat next to him, and then in the back, Woodrow Tango, Holburn Twite, and Carl has not changed his character sheet.
No,
I changed it on the actual stats.
Sirs. No offence to Mr. Sebastian, but he is, as myself, he is a tradesman. He is called in by the Order for specific duties. He is not a gentleman or an officer. He should sit in the front with me. The idea that an officer should sit in the front alongside the driver is abhorrent.
I resent such presumptions.
No, sir, you are indeed of a higher social status than myself, but not higher than Mr. Popajack. It just would not be done, sir.
I am both higher in status as well as higher in birthright.
Within the Order, yes, sir, but not within social mores.
It is,
well.
Popajack actually, noble, or whatever the like.
He's well off.
He's a proper gentleman, is the thing.
I don't think we've ever explicitly clarified it, but it
work for a living.
It has always been assumed that Popajack is an almost Worcester-esque character, albeit of a slightly darker bent.
Yeah. The thing is, Carl, you work for a living, which isn't a knock on you, but in the time period...
Oh, whoever says I do it for a living, not just for fun.
Well...
Aha!
Someone's got to sit in the front. My character can't deal with this idea that the gentleman should sit in the front along with the help.
I'll sit in the front. I'm a gentleman.
Yeah, I was going to say either that or the kid.
Oh, Creed, are you not a gentleman?
Is it Mr. Tango? What is it? Is it
How about the grease monkey?
Mr. Tango? You can sit in the front then.
Yes, the grease monkey, indeed. Yes, he's not a gentleman. He can sit in the front.
Wait, so the other one?
Indeed.
What's your name again, sir? Are you Holburn?
Dwight.
Holburn Twite.
You may sit in the front then.
Yes, all class orders sorted out on the way out of the garage. I suppose a speed check. Sorry.
I was going to say, I just got this image of we all go up to the car and, what do we call it, Reginald gets in and sits and we're just standing there waiting for everyone else to go, no, you.
You may assume that a good deal of this conversation was conducted non-verbally with very strategic and precise eyebrow raises. Exactly. Yes. Well, I mean, you add the verbal component when someone's just not obeying correct decorum. Cool. I suppose a speedy check in the interest of fairness. Does anyone have any questions for your briefing master, an anonymous member of the Order, before you head out to Tutley without Wold?
When was last main contact for the thing again?
Last mainstream contact was about a fortnight ago. The last supernatural contact was a dream survey conducted bare nights ago. It was more someone actively pushing their consciousness to within the region. It did not end well.
I have an open spoop question.
Yep.
Do I have a side mission assigned yet?
Sorry, remind me, what was the side mission situation for you?
Because I've got a side handler for specific, quote, cleaner missions. Like you said that you would work out something because it's a 2-point floor.
That is fair. Only 2 points, right?
Yeah.
Cool. So, in that case, your side mission that... Sorry, just pouring the last of my wine. Your side mission that everyone is aware of out of character, but not aware of in character, just to be super clear, is that in addition to requiring that this either works out as a preventing harm or working out to the benefit of the Order. For you, it's only benefit of the Order, and ideally, no one in the party should benefit too much. So no one should be able to capitalize on it as like, this will springboard me to future success, but it benefits the Order as a whole still.
Okay.
Does that feel fair?
Yeah.
Cool. Your handler was very clear about this. Very specific, very precise, and clipped. Any other questions?
I would ask, sir, if there are any, what are the acceptable casualty ratios for success?
Don't get caught by the British government.
Excellent, sir. I shall endeavour to ensure that the gentlemen travelling with me are provided any and all succour for carrying out such a mission. And of course, if one must be captured, I shall throw myself on the proverbial sword.
Rather inconveniently, you will note that Tutley Barracks is caught within the affected non-natural area, meaning that there is a non-zero chance of military intervention. Be aware of this. Any other queries?
What exactly didn't go well for old Dream Surveyor?
The full medical list goes on for several pages. Essentially, it seems like their body strategically shut down. Segment over segment. Though they were able to communicate that the people within felt trapped, and indeed that nagging sense of a voice at the edges of their consciousness. Beyond that, the Dreamseer seemed racked by horrifying nightmares. Nightmares that, initially, as they began to pull out, were entirely non-literal, and then came to warp their body, wrecking their bodily rhythms, annihilating their very metabolism. It took them some days to die. The Order is still in mourning for the loss of such a talented and useful operative. Any other questions?
Does the Order have any knowledge of any, local supernatural activities or contacts? Like, not necessarily this area specifically, but, like, anything within, like, the 50-mile range sort of deal?
If you will recall, the Order is generally in the absolute out of character at least, in the absolute paddling pool of the world of darkness. They are entirely unfamiliar with almost everything. They are only able to provide you with legends of local myths.
Technically, they've sent me because I've got 4 points in occult, and I took vampiric Britain as my speciality.
Yes, but that's still relative to the campaign you're in.
Yeah. So
you're included as a good measure of, well, it might be vampires, but they have no reason to believe that it's vampires specifically. In terms of local myths, there are 2 of reasonably prestigious note, though in this day and age it's worth noting that thoroughly pre-internet, fuck knows how many myths and minor legends are waiting in the wings. So firstly, White Mountain, supposedly the site of an ancient battle between a Romano-British king? Between a British king and the Romans. The legends are unclear on which side lost, but the fallen commander of one is said to be buried deep beneath the mountain. Mountain in this case meaning mountain in the Pennine sense, where it's a particularly large and windswept hill. And then in addition to that, somewhat to the southeast, there is Catclop Point.
Nice. Nice.
This pillar is the focal point for a number of sightings of large, feral black cats, panthers, pumas, animals which often seem like they're on the very cusp of eating passing travellers, only to back off at the very last moment. Any other questions? Nope, okay. And we got a small smile out of young Nicholas. Look at him sat there, comfortably muted, like a coward.
I'm not muted, am I?
No, you're not, but I thought I could provoke you into speaking.
So
Yeah, actually, you've not been muted and I've not heard you echoing. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Got a really strong.
So, the five of you, with, if I recall correctly, Reginald Foxley Smythe driving, and then I think it was Holburn Twite in the passenger seat, and the nobles crammed into the back.
I've got all this leg room.
Depart the Order's Yorkshire base in a classified locale. You arrive in southern Lockwood via the northern road, getting towards the mid-evening. Light has just about fallen, and the forest on all sides casts a strange and twisting series of twilight silhouettes. The air is chilly, and only your late 1910s driving outfits keep you anything like warm. Your butler will drive on, but for the time being you can see nothing ahead of you, and the woods all around you begin to come alive with the sounds of after-dark creatures. What do? And indeed, what plan, I suppose, actually, as well. Where do you fancy going? There are two major stops on your route. The Egbert Arms is much closer and more comfortable, but it isn't quite totally without wall, which is your destination.
Quick question, are we doing 643 or 753?
Whichever it says in Hunters Hunted 2, which I think is 753, but I would double check.
It's both, you can choose.
It's the lower. It's not the non-experienced ones.
Okay.
Gluttons for punishment. Yes, what do, gents?
What say you, boys? We afford a rest at Egbert's Arms?
Sounds pertinent.
Indeed, sir. I shall put us in there forthwith.
As you pass a particularly gnarled tree, a sudden tension falls over you. A strange feeling, like something coiling around the base of your very souls. You struggle to describe it, and this occurs for the driver specifically as your brain begins to plot alternate routes, ways you could deal with this, just almost instinctively. You're aware that you can't quite face the idea of reversing the car back up the road.
Yeah.
I get out some of my paranormal tools. I imagine they're in quite a big briefcase in the current age.
I think they're probably in the boot in the current age.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm gonna take out a cigarette and do my best to light up. I presume the top's down.
The top is indeed... I don't think you even have a top, actually.
They do have a fold-up top, but it's open at the front, so the wind would still be whipping in, given we're in Yorkshire.
Okay, well, I'm going to be frantically trying to light a cigarette to achieve some kind of sense of comfort of what just happened.
Let's have a double check. What's your character there, Carl? You're Sebastian Thornbury. I will take... Let's have a look. I think we've all been using resources as like a byword for class, even though that's probably unfair. I will take resources plus dexterity, please. Difficulty 7 to light to light a cigarette in my wins.
Well, shit me! No, I can't roll again!
Do you have a specialty?
No!
Then that'll be 4 successes. You
are a gentleman, you light up as you drive towards what you think is the end of the world.
Clearly served in either one of the cavalry corps or in terms of driving an armoured car or something in the war, because, like, holy shit, 4 successes, you are thoroughly practiced at lighting your smoke in a moving vehicle, going at the heady, pounding distance of 20 to 25 miles an hour.
You know what the worst thing is? He's from the World War One. That means he is really practiced at lighting his cigarette quickly and probably quite surreptitiously in poor conditions, because you didn't want to light it long term.
Not if you're in the trenches, no. I don't think that was as big a deal if you're like many miles behind the front line.
Oh no, certainly not. But
but fair. I take your point. The car continues on to the Egbert Arms. The nobles in the back, bickering over getting their stuff out versus stopping in this abysmal wood. The trees and the road seem to close all around you, forming a claustrophobic net of branches, stretching up until they eclipse the very starlight itself. For a brief 5, 10, 15 seconds, all the world is blackness, save only the dim headlights of the car seem to drown out by the inky darkness in front of you, as the trees weave a thick canopy overhead, until, eventually in the distance, you spot the dim, warm, yellow lights of the Egbert Arms, as marked on the map you checked before driving out. Making all haste, your butler sallies forth, and the pub is reached in short order. You can see outside are parked perhaps another 4, 5 cars, automobiles, all of them seeming to have been here for quite some time. Though there's light coming from within the pub, there are no sounds of merriment, and the woods around you seem distressed. The animal noises are routine, no greater in frequency, but there's something about their pitch, their tone, that implies a discrete level of panic. What do?
Chuff harder.
Now when you say shove...
Sorry, chuff, as in...
Oh, I see, right, fair. In the back seat, Sebastian Thornbury, like, you can visibly see his fag disintegrating as he just drives through it.
Oh, I can't remember the name of the character, but in Futurama, the crazy cat lady, like, when she totes, like, that sort of...
Yeah, I know the one you mean.
If we're here, I'll just start strolling right up to the pub door. See if it's open.
I'm going to take all these animal noises. I'm just going to take out 2 handkerchiefs and plug each ear with a handkerchief.
Oh, in fact, you're right. I should be my character more. I shall listen intently to the spooky noises and start playing with my paranormal toys.
Well, I mean, you're pulled up, you can get it out the boot now.
So I don't really have much of note. I don't know what will be a 1920s equivalent, but film photography, videography, electromagnetic frequency readers, thermometers, voice recorders, flashlights on multiple wavelengths.
Carried around in a trailer behind you.
How many
mild film?
How many dots have you got?
It's just 2. Electromagnetic field generators.
Okay, so you've probably got like an incredibly modern piece of technology in the form of, okay, I'm massively fluffing this, but like something like a Polaroid camera. Probably needs a tripod and like a dark thing, but you've got something that works there.
And if it stands still for 10 minutes.
Well, it's cutting edge, right? So it's quicker than that, we'll say, in the interest of fairness. And you've got 2 dots, so you can have one other thing for that second dot. Well, that's probably the second dot. What would you like for a first dot?
Well, all that list is just from the 2-dot list.
Fair. Okay, so in that case, shall we say, like, we were talking about mesmerism as a science, right? So should we say some kind of magical magnet? Or, well, at least pseudo-magical magnet?
Well, to be fair, at this point, I don't think the ether has been disproved, so you could have, like, ether detectors.
No, it's in the 1800s it's disproved, isn't it?
It's the Morley Mickelson, I think that's around this time.
I'd like some sort of weird spookometer, whether it's just like a dowsing rod or some sort of magnetic
so we're going to say you have, at your discretion...
1887, I do apologise.
You can either have 2 magnets, and the interference between the magnets is how you diagnose weird, non-natural phenomena, or you can have some kind of magnetic spookometer.
How about some sort of weird version of this or something?
That's a leech barometer. Those are very cool, but they're
no,
very different.
A variation for ghosts.
Alright, okay. If you want a hand-portable leech barometer, You can have it, but one, it's a barometer, so its primary use is in predicting the weather, and two, it has at maximum maybe 2 to 3 leeches. So I'm fine with it existing, but all of your predictions will need to be in the context of the weather and also leeches. If you can make it,
I was throwing out there for inspiration.
If you can make it work within those criteria, that's fine.
What are we eating? Take off.
How do we feel, Creed?
I'm happy to just take some sort of magnetic spoopometer that I hold in my device.
Okay.
Got some sort of weird doohickeys on it that spin around. Makes a beep.
Makes a beep.
Is it my job then to maintain it?
Maybe.
I'm trying to think how does it make a beep? Is it just like there's a mouse there? There's like squeezes the mouse.
I like the idea that we're trying to do our ghost detections based on 2 circles of a Venn diagram, one of which is leeches, the other one of which is weather. I'm excited to see how much those 2 circles cross over.
I know, we went for the other option, magnets.
Oh, magnet. Well, okay, I'm less excited to see how that Venn diagram crosses over, I won't lie.
Oh, do I also get the Polaroid camera?
Yeah, so your Polaroid camera is your 2-dot, and then you also have, like, a magnet-activated spookometer, which its primary role, to clarify, is definitely magnet-based. That may or may not intersect with supernatural phenomena.
It's fine. I'll fully believe it does regardless.
Exactly. Okay.
Can I have a fancy flashlight as well?
I don't know when the flashlight's invented.
Or some sort of lantern with coloured glass filters.
Lantern you can definitely have.
It's like a bullseye lantern, is it? With like interchangeable filters.
I suppose the problem with the flashlight is not the bulb, it's the battery. I don't know when the battery becomes...
Oh, yeah.
Oh no, 1887. Yeah, torches 100%. They're a bit bulky, but like they totally exist. It's a cutting edge piece of tech, even, so that's fully on board. You can totally have an electric torch.
Excellent.
As your butler.
Would Sir like me to hold the torch for him whilst he peruses his instruments?
Of course. That would be excellent.
At once, sir. I'd like to get my Webley out. In my other hand.
Pull out my gun.
I'll just prowl around with my magnet-activated spookometer, looking for a good place to set up my camera.
What's our equivalent of tech use in this setting?
Let's see. I didn't take computer because I didn't know how it fit in. I have science and technology.
Technology seems pretty fair. I will take technology over perception, please. Difficulty 8.
So I roll my dots in dice, right?
Can he get an assist from me because I'm helping him by holding
the torch over the boot whilst everyone else unloads?
Yeah, but I'd be, holding the torch out so we could see around to aid in his perception.
I think you can either do it for the boot or you can do it to help Tango set up his camera and spookometer.
I'll do the boot then.
Fair. So because he's going to be wandering around a bit. That's still a success. Tango, even with no help from your goddamn useless butler, you're still able to find a spot peering off into the darkness where your camera, you think, has the barest glimmer of a chance of catching something supernatural, as indicated by your magnetic... We're just going to go with the Nicholas term, fuck it. By your magnetic prognosticator, the latest in scientific awareness and detection of the non-mundane. Meanwhile, the butler is doing his best to get things out of the boot as you fart around, staring off into the inky woods around you.
I'm watching the butler faff about while smoking my pipe.
Pope Jack supervising. I believe Sebastian Thornbury was vaguely heading in. What's Reginald up to? Oh no, that's Benji. What's Holburn up to?
What's Holburn up to? Holburn is currently looking at the torch and the various other bits of technology that are on display, and wondering how we can improve them. And he's not entirely sure how the magnets are going to work here. But everyone seems really smart, so, or at least not dumb. So he's going to take their word for it that it works.
Yeah, I'm not actually a super smart man.
You're all smart until proven dumb.
You're a gentleman scientist. You don't need to be smart. You just need to be rich.
Inquisitive with a budget.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm kind of standing around gormlessly, waiting for an instruction as to what to do something.
Okay, then let's see how the unpacking goes, shall we? Reginald Foxley Smythe. I guess I'll take strength over athletics? Yeah, it feels fair. Strength over athletics, please. Difficulty 5. Oh no,
badly.
Is that a botch?
It goes badly, apparently.
That is a botch.
Apparently I've dropped something.
You know what? It's your first botch. It's your first roll. Whose luggage do you wish to have botch dropped?
The mechanics. I don't care about his.
Whoa, how did I know that was coming?
Okay. In that case...
Can I make a note that there's going to be some very heavy metal things in that luggage, and if that case pops open and lands on your foot...
Holburn twice. You watch in horror as your luggage is hefted out of the rear of the car, the automobile, and then dropped into the mud, into the dirt. Cases shudder and begin to snap open. What's the damage caused here? What's the major issue you have? How does this inconvenience you, this botch?
Well, I had some very precisely milled pieces of machinery in there. Some very precisely calibrated clockwork. And it may all be out of whack. It might take me hours or days, depending on the tools I have. My tools could be in disarray. Oh, it's horrible. I'm going to step in his foot later.
This damned class-traitor. Mild early inkling, but I do wonder if maybe Holburn Twite is an early card-carrying member of the Labour Party. Naturally something you couldn't bring up amongst this undoubtedly good Tory lot. But,
well, if you wasn't a Labour card-carrying member before, he's going to be one afterwards. Something strikes me real hard about that.
General strike. General strike. General strike. You watch as your delicate tools are all but hurled into the mud. The butler seeming... maybe you would have thought it was a genuine accident, if not for the complete lack of care he seems to evince. Though he does gather them up along with the rest of the luggage, it's haphazardly, and with little care given to their delicate nature.
Maybe there was some sort of union or political group that represented the workers.
Only the guilds had a union.
The one to represent the labourers.
The four of you begin heading in, leaving Woodrow Tango out in the darkness, camera at the ready, watching
very
the
excited. I like to think I'm under the sort of curtain at the back.
100%.
Snickering away.
They can't see me. I can't see them. Which of the two, I suppose, nobles entering the Egbert Arms enters first, with your butler and working-class compatriot behind you?
I don't mind going in second.
At this point, I'm torn between the sounds outside versus what could be inside. So, with my paranoia having been triggered quite so severely, I'm pretty much just not gonna stand on decorum and go straight in.
Sebastian Thornbury waits for no man. I can't do the gurgling, and it worries me so.
No, it's Tim Curry. You can't do his voice.
It's so difficult. followed closely after by Woodrow Tango, by Timothy Popajak, who I'm only just noticing has misspelt his own name on the character sheet.
It's been a while. I make sure I take the handkerchiefs out of my ears before going inside.
Well remembered. Heads into the pub. The tavern inside is, if not deathly quiet, then thoroughly muted. As you enter, a rather haggard-looking barman glances up to you, his eyes scanning each of you in turn. "Welcome to the Egbert Arms, gentlemen. How can I help you today?" There are perhaps another 3-4 people scattered throughout the room, all of them looking thoroughly exhausted, all of them clearly sat in a position of non-staff customers.
Can I, gauge the room, the level of the clientele?
Yeah, we're just using resources as a byword for class. I'll take perception resources, please. Difficulty 7.
Perception, well, where the hell was
Difficulty 6, actually, that's a bit unfair.
Perception top right of the attributes.
Sorry, I'm a friggin', when you minimize your character sheet, it was blending in with the friggin' forest. Sorry, was that resources perception?
Yep.
Oh yeah! I really can't roll anymore! Why?
So lucky, Carl. So lucky. At difficulty 6, that is 5 successes. Yeah, you're making out what look like, at best, minor members of the upper classes. More likely, you're looking at wealthy farmers. By your standards, these people are labourers. The pub does at least seem pretty well appointed, but it's quite run down, underwhelming. You notice there's a level of grime on the bar that implies not only has it not been that, usual pub level of ambiently dirty, but actively not cleaned for some days, maybe a week or two. What do?
I'm going to shudder ever so slightly, but it's more that shiver down the back sort of shudder, rather than a full on recoil.
A shiver down the spine.
And then I'm going to march towards the bar and look straight and was like, "Whiskey, neat."
The publican looks at you a little bit nonplussed at first, and then shrugs and moves to grab something looking reasonably expensive off one of the nearby shelves. What's your resources at?
2.
2. Okay, it might actually be a bit pricey for you. As you see him pull down a bottle that looks actually none too shabby. Where's the Weights and Measures Act?
I can't lie, I'm surprised that in a place like this he has a bottle like that, unless he's saving it just for instances like this to be like, fuck you.
I mean, when the posh boys come through. The first Weights and Measures Act is 1987, so it is a reasonably standardized couple of fingers. You could definitely afford it, but it's going to take a minor knock out of your finances for a little bit. Call it a temporary dot of resources damage for the rest of the session. The publican begins pouring. What do?
I'm just opening a notepad.
Sirs, if you do not mind, I will need to attend to his gentlemanship outside to ensure he's not assaulted by any errant locals or inclement wildlife.
In the meantime, I want to start instinctively counting the number of things in my viewfinders. Trees, bushes, branches. Just to see if I need to wear any.
I don't think you can make out a huge amount. It's all but pitch black out there, and the light pollution from the pub is probably playing merry havoc with what you might actually be able to see.
Okay. Fine with that.
1919 is not a great year for night vision. So, what were we doing, Carl?
I'm pretty much just gonna, take it. My first instinct is gonna be to slam it, so, it's like a purposeful raise to the face, and then realise, oh shit, yeah, no, this is expensive sipping whiskey, don't wanna, look like some kind of fool, and then as it comes up to that, just sort of thing, and then just light up another ciggy, because, hell, they have no idea how bad smoking is at this point, we only stopped smoking indoors 15 years ago.
1919. If anything, you can claim it's healthy. It's not good to do that.
Actively encouraged.
Yeah. Cool. I will take charisma over etiquette to see how you handle that one, please, Sebastian Thornbury. That'll be a difficulty 7, I think.
Yep, there we go. Bound to fail at some point. At least it's not a botch, but
Simple failure. You get a slight raised eyebrow from the publican, who traces every second of that. He, as the butler is going out, the publican deftly does his level best to ignore your slight social faux pas, and nods at the butler. Here, my lord, I'd not advise going outside at this hour. Wait for the day.
Did I at all recognise him recognising what I just did and then purposefully looking away?
100%, yeah.
Can I do that sort of when you just make eye contact and you both know what's just happened, and then a slight nod for thanks for not making anything out of it?
Oh, his eyes have already moved on for it. You send him the vision, and the movement, and he might have caught it out of the corner of his eye, but he's doing his best not to pay attention.
That's okay then.
I'm just going to keep going outside, regardless of the warning. Again, the reasoning was given.
The bartender shrugs. I told him, lords. I told him.
Can I look around for whoever Lawrence is?
Sorry, who's Lawrence?
Oh, I thought you just said, I told him, Lawrence, I told him.
No, I told him lords, I told him.
Oh, lords, sorry.
You look around for, having slightly misheard the publican, some local man named Lawrence. When outside, you hear a deep, blood-curdling, bone-snapping snarl. A howl that chills you to your very essence.
Have I left the room yet?
You have just arrived outside when it ripples through your essence. A deep, primordial fear. I'll take a courage check from the two people stood outside.
I'm going to spend a willpower point.
If I pass, can I snap a picture while I do?
I'm attending to a gentleman.
58.
I'm attending to a gentleman. The batsman does not fail to attend to a gentleman.
I'd like to start to go
He's damn straight he does not fail to attend to a gentleman.
What's it, roller, sorry?
Courage rolls off of courage. It's a virtue in the bottom right.
Just courage. Okay.
Yeah.
How does spending a willpower on rolls work again?
You declare that you spend
success
it
you cannot
preemptively, but yeah, it's an automatic success that cannot be cancelled.
Yeah, I'm going to roll that. I can only have 2 courage, so I only have 2 courage. I'll spend the willpower.
That's actually a net of 3 successes from both of you. Reginald is attending to a gentleman, and therefore he will act in a manner befitting of that gentleman. And, what's Woodrow's rationale? As a deep, primordial sense of terror ripples through your bones, what is it that keeps you beneath the shroud that utterly annihilates any sense of peripheral vision and condemns you to this inky, black, low-resolution hell?
Slight chance that it or something interesting might be in front of me, and I have the opportunity to record it.
Fair. Woodrow stays on track. You hold your bottle, snapping a pick, as the youth would call it, until mere seconds later there's a slight tapping at your shoulder and you whirl out of your photographer's garment to face the dim, backlit face of Reginald Foxley Smythe.
Sir, may I suggest you get behind me? I don't think that whatever it was out there is in a good mood.
Oh, of course, sir, of course. I'll gather up my things, shuffle behind him.
The two of you shuffle back into the Egbert Arms.
Hello, barkeep. Mind if I set up some instruments pointing outside one of your windows?
The publican's eyes narrow. Instruments? In my bar?
My photographical box.
What's a photographical?
It captures the scene into a little picture.
Just for reference for everyone, photography is at this point quite old. I want to say it's from the early 1800s, so this is very backwards, even by the standards of the time. We don't hold no truck with modern science over here.
Really, like, out of character, they really are from Yorkshire.
That's not even slightly a Yorkshire accent.
Oh, I meant the reaction.
Oh, fair, yeah.
Holburn has heard this and is there like...
I'll have you know, this is a good Christian pub, and I won't... That howling again outside, but closer. Much
Christian pub,
closer.
Sir.
The publican...
That apparently has that outside.
The publican
whatever it is.
quails. I didn't hear nothing, did I? And he turns to a nearby regular. Bert. The regular looks up at him and then goes back to his drink, deliberately making no eye contact.
Aggressively sips stronger.
Does it seem like it's a we're so scared sort of thing, or is it more of a kind of a ritual of if we do this, it won't come in sort of thing?
For my money, it's if we ignore it, it'll go away.
Perception over empathy, difficulty 6, please, Jen Nicholas. I believe in you. You can do this.
Alright. A 1 success.
1 success. That's a vain hope that if we fail to acknowledge it, then it will go away.
Well, I'll pack up my instruments, as he says so. Say, well, in that case, can I get some sort of pint of beer, and if you happen to carry any literature at the pub?
Publican crosses his arms. Beer, yes. Books, no.
And nary a newspaper?
It would appear that the newspaper delivery has been late for some time. The howling
when was the
again
last time you got a
outside.
newspaper?
I do not recall the last time I got a newspaper. Do I, Bert? Bert burps gently in the background whilst refusing to make any eye contact with anyone. And then the howling almost entirely outside the pub. The shriek of shearing metal. Nearby publicans throw themselves under the table. Nearby publicans, nearby customers. The publican himself runs into a back room.
So, may I suggest that we go out there and fight whatever this thing is? It's attacking the car. And as such, I would hate for you to face the Board of Inquiry when we returned to the Order of the Hat, as they own the car.
But, sir, I posit you there are many cars out there.
It'll eventually get to ours, though, I'm sure.
Sir, I'm not entirely sure there were that many cars out there.
I think there were 3 or 4.
Exactly. If they're destroying one, they may be in fact destroying property of the Order of the Hat, and I would hate, as I say, for any of you to face a Board of Inquiry when we returned.
And at the very least, we'd at least park it round back so it's not with the others.
So, yeah, I've got several things that I kind of want to do there, like not talking-wise so much as character reaction. I say, when Matey goes to dive away, I'm presuming that we've got, pull pump taps?
Yes.
You forward and start drinking it like Barney Gumble.
Well, no, I was going to finish off my whiskey, down it, take a pull of whatever bitter is closest.
Sure.
Down that. And then turn around and march out the door on the pretty much as soon as I hear the review board.
Okay.
So those fuckers have been coming after me and mine for so long now.
Fair. I'm just going to nip to the toilet. I'll be right back. If everyone else would like to draft what they'd like to be doing when that happens.
Grab a glass.
Because, as a note, like I say, this isn't really in character general knowledge, but one of the things with my character is that, like, after being in the Order of the Hat for so long, and after 13 generations, like, a certain status has been accrued, which also comes with, like, a good amount of influence in the Order. So one of the things they've tried to do to curb said influence is by making me this, like, I say, like, footman, or, like, how did you put it, Benji? Like, a tradesman?
You work for a living.
Yeah. So it's their way of being like, we control you, sort of thing.
Fundamentally,
Right.
yeah. There's nothing there.
Which is why I have to go out on these missions and why I have a handler and stuff like that. So if I, like, perform badly, then, like, the family gets a bad review, and then that lowers our overall status, which, you know, is like the Hat trying to keep control of us.
Indeed.
So yeah, please, like, don't in character try and swing the review board or anything like that, like, just to kind of provoke me, if you would be so kind.
I'll probably avoid
Very
bringing
fair.
up the review board as much as possible.
Fuck you! I'm 13th generation!
My character
Yep.
is so.
And if
so,
you fall out, it means there's a space for us.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so Nick was just talking over me then.
Sorry, my apologies.
My character's so new to the Order of the Hat that he's barely aware there is a scoreboard.
Yeah, no, like, this is something you wouldn't, like, I suppose, wouldn't really be exposed to until you got to, like, a certain level. Like, I don't know, like, Order of the Hat is more Benji's baby, so it's, like, I'd say it's more for him to decide on certain things like that.
I like the idea that each rank is a type of hat.
I don't think we can ever say it's my baby, given how it got twisted so much in Source.
Yeah, but I mean, like, you came up with the idea, sort of thing, so...
Well, to be fair, I would say that, like many secret societies, they'd have elders and councils and various things and codes of conduct that basically people break all the time, but it's only when they want to, like, deal with people they don't like that they throw stuff at you.
Okay, yeah, so that's pretty much bang on what I was kind of going with.
Yeah. It's a secret society, you know, they're all like that.
So, did anyone have anything else they wanted to be doing as Sebastian Thornbury goes out to face the noise?
And I'll follow him out and draw my pistol.
I'll draw my pistol and get ready to follow at the rear.
As a note, like, when I burst out the door, I've got jazz hands going.
The only one unarmed, followed by two nobles with pistols.
I'm going as well. I'll be covering him.
Yeah, like, no one else knows it right now, but, like, I am my weapon, so...
I can come out with my Lee Enfield, but I've yet to fully spec out my Lee Enfield.
I figured it was still in the car.
Probably, yeah. I mean, if you guys have pistols, I suppose pistols are far more conceivable.
That's why they're illegal. In this country, at least.
I don't know if they are in this period.
Nope, they don't.
Oh, no, not currently, no.
Handheld pistols aren't made illegal until post-Dunblane, and that's long in the future.
Just trying to see if I've got the splat book for this. You know what? Fuck it, I'm just going to make it up. We'll use the grenade rules. So...
Oh no.
I'll take a courage check diff 9, please, from everyone leaving the pub.
I'll stay.
I'm going to spend a willpower.
Yeah, that'll be a willpower from me, Doc.
Fair.
And thank God I did.
I'll spend one as well.
Such brave boys.
Okay, I see a net 1 success from Reginald.
Is it your total willpower, isn't it?
Ooh, what? Courage? No, it's a separate stat.
Oh, sorry, courage, yeah, got you.
And net 1 from Tango. Still waiting on...
You at this time asking what was the diff again?
Diff
9.
Thank you, and I spend a willpower.
Yeah, one for me, I spent willpower as well, so...
Did you actually say you spent a willpower, Nicholas?
I did, yeah.
I did too, yeah.
Okay. You have a witness. Alright, so so everyone surviving on 1 willpower, apart from, to his credit, Sebastian Thornbury off on 2, because he spent 1 and got 1. So, the other 4 of you head outside, leaving Holburn Twite inside the Egbert Arms. The first thing you see is one of the automobiles, one that isn't yours, somewhat battered old model from before the war, being tossed, shredded into all but 3 pieces, into the tree line. Huge claw marks gouge through it. The next thing you see is a colossal, slavering monstrosity. 10 foot tall, something that inspires utter, bone-chilling terror, pure, mind-numbing fear, the very marrow in your bones vibrating with an instinctive, near compulsory desire to flee, to run, to get any level of distance away from this thing. A 10-foot monstrosity. Just vaguely lupine. But essentially,
Queen and country, sirs. I'm going for the elephant gun.
But essentially nothing but fur and teeth and corded muscle. In the mocking shape of a man, its jaw hanging loose, easily large enough to swallow a torso whole, your butler goes, as quickly as he can, towards the boot of your car, rushing for the elephant gun. Benji, I will take an agility over athletics diff 9, please.
mean dexterity?
Sorry, yes, dexterity.
Okay, give me 1 second. I am just changing a child. Or rather, stripping a child.
I was going to say, you can change those fuckers? Like, why didn't you get your money back?
At the shop.
Because, I mean, to be fair, it's a pretty good model.
Aww.
I mean, it is the latest, right?
Aww.
Diff 9, you say?
I did say diff 9. Sorry,
I've been rolling really shit so far. I'm going to spend a willpower point.
That's Carl's fault, though. He keeps absorbing all the luck.
I'm just going to throw it out
really
there.
Sorry.
I think it might be a bad idea.
And this is why I spend the willpower. You see what I mean?
Net 1 success. Dancing with a strange, eclectic grace, Reginald Foxley Smythe darts just barely towards the boot of the car, slamming it open. At the very moment that the beast's claws flash forward, it going from a stationary, slathering monstrosity to something moving quicker than the eye can really perceive. No sooner has the boot slammed open than you're levering the elephant gun out of it, and then the monster is gone to the tree line. There, and disappeared. Yet the presence doesn't ease up. Something is somewhere nearby. Inside the pub, a gentle weeping can be heard, as a more sensitive member of the staff lets their emotions get the better of them. Outside, what do?
I'll be staying close to the door as the last one out.
Furiously loading the elephant gun.
I'm just frantically looking around, ready to dash inside if I need to.
And the other two?
So we can't see it.
It's in the tree line, but if the sheer, bone-chilling, quite literally terror you feel almost mnemonic with fear is anything to go by, it's nearby, probably watching you.
Okay, so can't see it, but it feels like it's nearby. I'll watch the door until everyone's... I'll stand next to the door until everyone's inside.
No one's even coming inside at this point.
Oh, okay, cool, fair enough, try. I'm gonna keep an eye out then. My eyes peeled. Ready to curse it as soon as it comes into line of sight.
I'll also say, may I say, friends, I don't think, well, that's to say, I think this is its territory and not ours, definitely at the moment.
A snarl emits from the forest.
I wonder if that was agreement or contesting.
I always find standing one's ground is always the best solution to these things.
I'll take an athletics over dexterity check from everyone standing in the doorway. That's everyone but Benji and Ollie by my count. Difficulty 7.
What plus what, sorry?
Dex plus athletics.
What's this for?
Oh, what is
This
it?
is a dodge.
An athletics.
Oh, okay.
The dodge.
Standing one's ground is the best solution, as a good chunk of car whips towards your face.
What? Is there any malice for not having a dot in athletics?
No, it's not knowledge.
Okay. I forgot about the dodge stat.
To clarify, it's still in the out of character. It's still in the tree line, so this thing is just being flung at us rather than it's come back to the cars and
Yeah, no, it's flinging a bit of the car it just destroyed at you.
Okay.
I'm going to spend another willpower.
What was the difficulty?
I believe the difficulty was 7.
Hmm.
I'm glad I did.
2 successos.
So Popajack actually ducks neatly out of the way.
It's like a smart sidestep.
A fairly smart sidestep. A slightly more raggedy sidestep from Tango.
Can I just chuck myself backwards into the pub?
Entirely fair. You are totally at liberty to do that. The front of the Egbert Arms is all but smashed, but you hurl yourself inside with a coward's instinct for survival. And Sebastian?
I'm also spending a point of willpower. That was Dex over athletics, right?
Was indeed. Oh man, a lot of willpower flying tonight.
Well, if I take this to the face, it's probably
entirely reasonable. It is World of Darkness. There's a decent chance it would just kill you. A statutory reminder that if you feel that your nature has come up,
fuck you!
Asking. Oh my God, Carl!
So all we needed to do to get Carl back into P&Ps was bring him back into the World of Darkness, because apparently he should never have left.
4 successes. Carl recharges his powers when given minor, but not moderate or over, exposure to WoD. 4 successes. What do you want to do with your 4 successes that you rolled, Carl? 4 successfully.
So when you turn on your heel and just nope, just stroll back in, go back to the bar, pick up my glass and refill the fucker.
Spotting the movement at the tree line, you head in. Behind you comes a desperately moving Woodrow Tango, and behind that, a good chunk of car, smashing the doorway into pieces, making easy retreat difficult, though not impossible.
You've seen where the car was coming from, where the bit of car came from.
You did indeed.
Why you don't want a perception roll or something like that to see?
I think it's fair to say that your guard was on the up.
Okay, can I try and whip off a shot towards the...
That will be a roll. I will take
fine.
Perception Firearms Diff 9.
Can I do a similar thing, but instead try to curse it?
Didn't you stay inside? Oh no, you didn't. You actually just sidestepped. Yeah, everyone else retreated.
I'm snapped.
2 degrees of success.
Oh fuck, we're gonna have to open the fucking curse rules now.
Yep, I've already got them open. So it's starts on page 72 in Hunted. So it's a manipulation plus intimidation difficulty 7 test. And I only want to do first level, so it takes a round to do it per level of curse. And then the successos gives you how long it lasts. But basically the first level is just a +1 difficulty to dice pools appropriate to the specified situation.
Okay. Cool, I will take Manipulation and Intimidation, so this usually would be Diff 7. You are still popping off a skill shot, so I'm going to raise you up to Diff 9. And it's a statutory cost of 1 willpower to attempt the roll.
A Diff 9?!
Yeah, sorry. If you get a Diff 7 as standard when you can see the person, then I'm not giving you a Diff 9 when I just charged Benji a Diff 9 for a gunshot. The fact that you are using magic does not make it easier to hit.
Fair enough. I'm going to spend a willpower then, so that's going to be 2 willpower down.
Still, yeah, you are still allowed to spend a willpower to auto.
Yeah, I'm fucking 9. Cool. Where's my interest? 4, 3, 5, 9.
Meanwhile, inside, Holburn Twite on his.
Oh my word!
Well, you didn't need to spend a willpower.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, got a curse. Is it up
Nicholas,
to a year?
What have you done?
You just
I
cursed
cursed
the
him
werewolf.
for a year.
To do what?
He hasn't decided.
Just physically based tasks. Just anything physical for this thing.
Well, I just got 2 degrees of success to shoot it with a gun, an elephant gun, so maybe tanking wounds?
Those happen simultaneously, so I'm not gonna let that.
Oh, that's a shame. He gets cursed and the elephant gun bullet goes straight through his temple.
For a year, it's gonna -1 to all physical based checks.
How do your curses manifest? Out of interest, what's the motion you do to cast them?
It's an uncharacteristic kind of. No, it's he squeezes his lump that he's got where his arm's missing, and yells in pain as he remembers waking up to this phantom pain and this awful botch job these doctors did to him.
Okay, so you're channeling the ecstatic tradition. I can see it. That's actually a weirdly ancient form of magical purveyance that you've tapped into there, Nicholas. I was not expecting that response.
I thought about the magic. I didn't just choose it.
Nothing I can say at this point won't sound bitchy.
What have you done with young Nick?
From the man who brought you I haven't decided my homeworld, how am I supposed to know that 30 sessions into a campaign? Of course I've established my magical tradition. What do you take me for, a fucking amateur?
Give me magical based things and I'm all there. Give me a planet or something. I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do. Probably blow it up.
Seeing as you've done it 3 times, yeah.
He's so mad. Benji got 2 successes with an elephant gun and you're under... Okay, so... Well, he rolled first, so we'll let him do his thing first. Reginald Foxley Smythe. 2 successes with an elephant gun. Do we have an elephant gun anywhere?
I think you've still got that.
Oh, I do actually. Yeah.
Guns.
Let's have a speedy role play amongst yourselves. Those inside pub, just real quick, whilst I look something up.
The grown-ups are working outside.
From the outside. Yeah,
I mean the 2 outside are a bit busy for chat. I'll say.
There was 3 outside, right? Or was it just 2 outside?
No, there were 4
inside.
went outside, 2 dived back inside. Well, 1 dived back inside at the first moment of danger, and the other one casually sauntered inside at the first mention of danger.
Okay, so Holburn's going to turn around as he sees the 2 dive back in, pint in one hand, pint in the other, and just hands it over to the first one who looks like they need it most.
I'll go for it. Oh, I did order one. Thanks.
I think a bit
I'm
of
going to
bother out
politely nod.
there. Things looking a bit sticky out there, boys.
Yeah, it's a bit dreary at the very least.
Well, nothing I'm sure an elephant gun or 3 can't fix.
At that moment, there's a colossal boom from outside.
Can I go for my tools and go and get my camera?
I think you probably brought those in with you, sure.
Yeah. Go get that ready and then head outside again in a little bit, cautiously.
We'll see how things go for them. So I actually don't have stats for an elephant gun, so I guess we're just going to give it cannon stats and see how that goes.
Do you have a stat for a boy's anti-tank rifle? Because it's quite similar, but the difference is mostly the boy's anti-tank rifle is better at armor penetration than it is killing meat targets.
No, I think there might be something that exists for it, but I don't think I own the Storyteller's Vault book. I can give you a Maxim gun or a small cannonette.
Cannonette is going to be more like it, though. The Maxim gun fires fast rather
That's
than
true, actually, yeah. Alright, let's have a look at the mountain gun.
No, give me that.
Where's the... Here we go. Okay, cool. So your rate and clip is 1, but your damage is 10.
This one. Give me 1 sec.
Unfortunately, it's not a -1 to the dice pool curses. It's +1 to the difficulty of all the tests they do. I think it's worse than a dice pool minus.
Maths is weird in WoD, so yes sometimes, but also no sometimes. WoD actually gets. I don't want to go into it. It's a strange setting, but more dice is sometimes mathematically worse than less dice.
Yes, agree. I can completely understand that.
Okay, yes, cool. So you do a damage of 10 with the elephant gun in that case.
And it... well, as Reginald Foxy Smythe, I would think, excellent, winged you bastard. As me thinking, well, I didn't kill it. It's a freaking guru. I didn't kill it.
I don't know what you mean. Sounds
I don't know what I mean either.
Metagaming to me.
That's why I said, as Reginald Foxy Smythe, I would think, winged you bastard. As me understanding and not applying it to the game.
So, your gun booms off into the distance. You see a spray of black fluid in the shadow. And then feel an overwhelming sense of unease overwhelm you momentarily. An overwhelming sense of unease overwhelm you. An overwhelming sense of unease ambush you momentarily, shuddering past you, coming in an instant out from Timothy Popajak as he clutches at the stump of his former arm. It's gone as quickly as it arrives, as though you were simply caught in the backwash. There's a howl from the woods, and then something launches itself onto the roof of the Egbert Arms. Elephant gun's only single shot, is it not?
Actually, elephant gun's a double shot. They all are, by design.
Okay, well, I've not done the research, but it sounds like you have.
The thing is, you have two separate actions. The reason is, if you're hunting big game in Africa, the last thing you want is a single action shot, and you only get one shot. Because if that first bullet doesn't kill the elephant or the rhino and it's charging at you, you've then got to get out the way.
Okay.
And it's very unlikely. So if it malfunctions or it doesn't kill it full off, you swap to the second trigger, different action, so there's no chance of a malfunction from the first trigger, and pull that one as well.
Fair. I choose to believe you. I'm not... Sorry, that sounded very sarcastic. I choose to assume that you've done sufficient research to indicate that this is actually how that works. I've not, so we're just going to go with it.
Yeah, it's fascinating.
Do you want to peel off your second shot?
I would, yes, please.
Okay, this is not going to be difficulty 9. It is in not clear sight, but it's not hidden in the woods where you're just going by sound and vague interpretation. We're going to call diff 7 on this one.
Is this perception again, or is this...
Perception firearms.
Okay.
Dex firearms, whichever's higher.
Ooh. Oh, for God's sake. Only 2 degrees of success.
Man, those ones really fucked you.
I cannot catch a break today, can I?
Sorry.
Can I shoot it with my pistol as well?
Can we go back to Dark Heresy? I roll well in that system.
What was that, Nicholas?
Can I have it off with my pistol as well, please?
Well, let's get to that then, shall we? The colossal, slavering monstrosity, 10 foot tall, leaps out of the tree line onto the roof of the pub, sending shingles and tiles scattering all over the place. The thing begins to slash and crash into the building, shredding it, when a second elephant gun shot ripples into its spine. The sonic boom all but deafens the two of you. The thing seems to totter and teeter backwards, giving you just enough time for actually a pretty easy close-range shot. What's your pistol, young Nicholas?
Oh god, I hadn't thought about the make of the pistol at all.
Vaguely. It doesn't have to be super precise.
Fuck
Webley!
A revolver, fuck it.
Webley!
Okay, Webley, got it, from Carl, sounds like. Do I have a Webley? I do have a Webley! Page is Webley on, Webley's on that page. So, a Webley... Why is it giving me the Webley on a different page? Sorry, just one moment. Here we go. So Webley has a damage of 7.
Or is it firearms over?
Firearms over Dex Diff 5, please. Try not to get too many successes.
3?
What do we say? What did we say, Nick?
The monster teeters backwards, threatening to fall on top of you, Popejack. Your pistol darts up lightning fast, reflexes honed in the trenches of the Somme. Popejack didn't make it through the greatest war the world has ever known, through mustard gas, through shelling, through pistols, through brutal trench warfare and bludgeoning men with his tools. To die at the hands of some mangy supernatural beast in, of all god-forsaken places, northern Yorkshire? Webley pistol pointed skywards. You tap the beast, gently, in the back of the neck. It doesn't scream, it teeters, and whimpers, its form shrinking, buckling, and by the time it lands at your feet, it's barely larger than a dog.
I would like to have been taking this time to reload.
Nick, did you curse a cat?
I've just gotten out here with my camera to have missed the true form.
Yeah, you would have been out, but the building just got completely. The building's entrance just got completely. The foyer got completely wrecked by that third of a car. It just hucked, and by the time you're able to make it out, it just looks like a dead dog that 2 people have recklessly brutalized.
He sort of attacked the car, didn't he?
He did, yeah. His camera didn't.
His camera didn't, yeah.
Okay, oh dear. Snap a picture.
Nick, why would you beat up a dog? Why would you curse a dog? It's going to be so...
I curse it for a year, and then after Benji's done all the hard work, I just go, bang! Back of the head with a pistol.
I'm very glad that you were able to correctly identify that you did not do the majority of the damage there.
Oh no, I did not. I did fuck all that.
I'm just going to say this. While this is going on, can I have been reloading?
Yes, you did. Sorry, you did say that. So you're currently desperately reloading in the background as the rest of the nobilité begin to filter out. A moment's commentary from someone, perhaps.
I see you've chosen to join us all.
I see you shot a dog.
It was much larger, and you know it was.
It did look it earlier. You sure this is the same thing?
Yes, actually. I mean, look at the crater it left on the house.
A shingle falls off the roof.
Snap a pic.
With pint in hand, remainder of pint in hand, raise the glass, say, righto, and I just head back inside.
I holster the pistol, take out the pipe. Shall we?
Indeed, sirs, but give me 1 second. I just have to make entirely sure. I'd just like to walk over to it, snap the action shut, and blow its head off.
It's like I'm going the entire time. It's like, maybe we should take a picture first.
I've taken pictures.
Oh, you're taking the picture? Okay, cool, that's fine then. Cool. By all means.
The dog, and a large shaggy dog it is, its head explodes in a spray of gore and bone fragments.
I'm going to wince at the sound of gunfire.
Yeah, so's Holburn.
Holburn, having never left the pub at this point.
Oh, I'll also have a brief look around the corpse, see if there's anything at all odd about it. Got normal looking blood, and seems biologically like a dog or what have you, without going too deep into its carcass.
It looks like a dog, like you kick it, and it seems like the dead dogs you've known in life.
Tastes like a dog? Question mark?
Does it taste like a dog?
Let's not find that out.
Did I stutter?
Oh, something inside. Oh, also, my nature is curious, but that seems like a fairly easy trigger, so I don't know how you want it.
As you begin to poke around the dog, 2 things catch your attention. 2 very, very similar things. 2 howls in the not-too-distance. Blood-curdling, familiar howls.
Lasai.
I'm assuming fox hunting is a thing.
Sadly so, yes.
Yes. Yes.
Sir, I hate to say this, but I rather think that this may be slightly beyond fox hunting.
Oh, of course. No. It seems the dogs have switched sides.
Is that what you're mad about? So... Regenerate a point of willpower.
What was that you said?
He said it seems the dogs have switched sides. Like the little fucking Tory bitch he is.
Ewan, can I regenerate a point of willpower because I basically set up the game hunt for the gentleman to shoot the thing in the back and claim all the credit?
What's your nature?
Traditionalist on both ways.
Yep, fair. You may also regain a point of willpower.
My demeanour is thrill seeker, and I purposely stayed outside so I could keep on fighting.
You know what? That is actually true. You may also regain a point of willpower. You saw the thing, a 10-foot-high, muscle-bound, slavering monstrosity, and unlike every sane person, did not dodge inside the pub. That would qualify as thrill-seeking. Not
Can I get
as a smart move, but thrill-seeking, yes.
Do I get anything for nature of curious or demeanour of aloof?
I don't think so in either case, I'm afraid. That wasn't super curious behaviour.
Nature of enigma. Is it enigma? Anyone's wondering why I didn't go out?
I don't think so. No one's wondering why you didn't go out. If anything, the inverse would be true. You'd be wondering why anyone would go out.
I should have gone out. No, that would have been worse, I think. Seeing as I have half gens, that would not end well for anyone.
So, what do, gents? The howls in the not-too-distant sound again. Perhaps a little closer, perhaps a little further away.
I'll reload the single shot I used in the revolver.
Let me just double-check the clip on a Webley. You have a clip of 6.
It's a revolver.
Indeed, it is a revolver. You have 5 shots left.
So I can roll barrel out there and put in a single shot, right?
That's true. You can, yes.
So I'll do that. Make sure I'm at full shots, please.
Entirely fair. What do otherwise,
what's the
folks?
door situation?
It's pretty much smashed.
Was it our door? Was it our car or was it a different car?
No, it was a different car.
Look at it. Salvage the rest of the card. Sounds like there are 2 more coming.
A good deal of it's beyond the tree line. You can go out into the dark, if you like.
Oh, there are 2 other cars that aren't ours. We could use those as a barricade. Move our car around the back, of course.
Our boy Holburn was an engineer, right, or something?
Exactly. You could dismantle these and make some sort of barricade.
I mean, Holburn's inside at the pub bar, drinking a pint and frostily ignoring everyone else outside.
Holburn! Great job for you!
Holburn?
Yes, what?
You hear the cry come from inside the pub.
What do you think you could make out of
Oh,
2
was it a loud
cars
noise?
and change them into some sort of makeshift barricade?
I believe I can. I should be able to. Do we have anything to... Well, let me just check my suitcase. I might have the right tools in here.
I'm going to go back in the pub after all this shouting.
I'm not sure how much longer we have.
Oh, in which case, yes, let's try.
Sweet.
So I haven't fully genned yet, so it's going to be an underpowered roll, but...
Yeah, sorry, I know you're halfway through gen, I'm like, hey, you want to roll some dice?
It's fine. It's the first time I've ever done a half-gen character roll. This should be interesting.
I don't feel you need to apologise, Tom. He's had a week to gen his character. It's fine.
Yeah, I could have done this earlier, but
exactly.
also... thank you for supporting me there, Nick. It's appreciated.
It's okay. I'm here to dunk on you.
Craft plus intelligence?
What's your craft?
So mechanics, I think.
Mechanics is pretty fair. Alright, I'll take craft plus intelligence. I'm going to call it difficulty 8 for the time constraint.
So I'm going to spend a willpower point. And that is 4 plus 3, 7, d10. So with a willpower spent, 1 success.
1 success. Okay. So... you have just about enough time, too, with the other, I think, 3 members who stayed outside. Someone else rushed inside. I want to say it was Creed. I want to say it was...
I'm back
Tango.
inside.
Oh, sorry, Woodrow Tango and Sebastian Thornbury have both headed back inside. So there's Popajack, who has 1 arm, has stayed outside to help you, as has the butler, because this is clearly a tradesman's duty.
I'm quite good at organising people. I have a pip in leadership. I was an officer.
Sorry, so Popajack has stood outside to tell you how to do your job, whilst the butler helps.
Exactly. I'm helping here. I'm handing him things. I'm holding things as he needs them. I have a finger. If you need a finger, like that nut you need to do, I can put my finger there, and there you go.
Really, I should have given you higher difficulty.
Holburn thinks it's nice that Toff is helping, but it's more a hindrance than anything else. But you know what? You got to let them have their fun.
Yeah, no, exactly. For now, come the revolution that Comrade Marx predicts. Oh, I'm really sad that Ollie didn't take the fucking, has extra mission requirements so we could just make it uber communist.
I mean, we can do that if you want.
I suppose it's still, you've got time to take floors.
Yeah.
So find out whatever cars was called, and if that's what you want to do, Ollie. Don't you feel pressured? But if you do it, I'm definitely giving you sabotage these damned nubblers. So, regardless, you are just about, with some heavy-duty assistance from the surprisingly hench butler, able to hold the other 2 cars to form some kind of makeshift barricade over the entrance. When the growling, the howling, the snarling draws near once more, you can hear a distant and all too close lashing and gnashing in the woods, pacing around the bar, the pub. What was that, Popajack?
That's okay. I should ensure that everyone in the party is armed. We have plenty of weapons in our trunk, correct?
You have ridiculous amounts of guns in the boot of your car.
I just make sure everyone is armed.
You grab
everyone in the party has a gun. I make sure
an armful of rifles as best you can and hurry inside the pub. And those outside the pub, what are we doing?
I'm going back inside the pub. I need to see how well these fortifications hold up.
I'm gonna hunker down, my pistol at the ready, and I'm just waiting. It's like as soon as I see an enemy.
Captain Popajack, sir, might I suggest that I distribute these guns to the hoi polloi inside, and you use your military tactics and knowledge to whip them into fighting shape, sir, to have them take up firing positions at windows and other such defensible places that we might repel this threat.
You know what? That's not a half bad idea. I'd like to give everyone a pep talk and start organising them to defensive positions around the pub.
I will take leadership over charisma difficulty 9, please.
Let's throw some... I'm going to throw a willpower in there.
Are you ordering, the party, the patrons, or both?
I think it was both, to be fair, from the wording.
Yeah. They've seen the damage that something threw something at the front door, and they're all petrified anyway, so...
Yeah, hence the diff 9.
Yes.
Because everyone either saw the door, or the antechamber, or they saw the thing itself.
Okay. That'll be 2 successes.
Can I roll strength and athletics?
I did, yeah.
Okay.
Can I roll strength athletics to gather up a whole bunch of guns and start distributing them as per his orders?
I don't think that's strength athletics. To be fair, he already grabbed in a load from outside, right? So
but he's only got 1 arm.
Yeah, but that's why he was grabbing rifles, because you can grab a rifle, you can grab a shit ton of rifles with 1 arm.
I think it's a tiny bit of a retcon sort of thing.
I'm sorry.
He's doing it.
Sir Timothy Popajack is an officer. Officers do not work.
It's not. What regiment were you in? Where's Popajack from in the country?
You're getting onto homeworlds again here. I
What the-
don't know.
All right, where are you from, young Nicholas? You're from Reading, right?
Let's say Surrey. It was from Surrey somewhere in Surrey.
All right, okay. All right, so you're probably from looks like the Royal Berkshire Regiment.
Surrey.
Yeah, looks like it would have been Royal Berkshire.
Surrey.
No, seriously.
Like, they border each other. for one.
Reading is, yes. That's why I'm saying somewhere in Surrey, not Berkshire.
Yeah, but there may not have been, like, a Surrey regiment.
All right, let's have a look.
You know what? We'll go with Rifles. It's from the Rifles.
The Rifles is a super regiment that was incorporated in the 90s. They don't exist at the moment.
Yeah, Carl's entirely correct. I'm sorry, Nicholas. Like, unironically, it looks like you were probably if you're from about where you're from, then you're part of the Royal Berkshire Regiment.
Royal Berkshire, that is.
Surrey didn't get its own regiment until, and I'm butchering the military history here, but Surrey didn't get its own regiment until looks like the 1950s.
Oh my lord, okay.
Makes sense.
Here it is.
But, if it's any consolation, Royal Berkshire actually has a pretty esteemed military history.
Yeah, they're right up there.
Yeah, so you're actually kind of, like, holding that high with a, like, well, the fucking...
Supposedly, Newbury was, like, one of the, like, crossroads and whatnot, and, like, in early wars, across the country, so it's, like, a good place to hold, so it's got lots of history, apparently.
Well, it incorporates London as a recruiting ground, so there's a lot of people.
And like on top of that, it's been esteemed since at least the Boer War. Just a brief scan over it, looks like probably a bit earlier than that even. So like when World War I started, Royal Berkshire was already a pretty renowned regiment, which means that you do not blanch at the idea that perhaps you sometimes have to haul your own arms, because the regiment teaches you practicality first. You didn't serve in the Great War for all of this bullshit. The battalion is there to make your life easier. You are there to make the lives of your men endure.
I would say, just as a point of history, I would say that Reginald served with the Royal Gloucesters, a truly venerable regiment.
How long's Royal Gloucester's been going?
The Gloucesters, they've been going since like the 1600s. They're really old.
Ah, Civil War traitors, you say? Fighting with the fucking Roundheads, you say?
I don't know if they did fight with the Roundheads.
I don't know. I know the county sided with the Cavaliers, but Gloucester sided with the Roundheads, if I recall correctly. Oh, to be fair, actually looks like the Royal Gloucesters, fought in the War of Spanish Succession was their first campaign.
Yeah. They've been around.
Carl is correct. Anyway. So, much to the chagrin of your butler, Popa Jack is a practically minded man, and the first thing he did before running into the the pub, was to grab as many rifles as he could with his single arm, haul them in with him, and then begin distributing, lay them down on the bar surface for his butler to distribute to the locals. What did you get, Nicholas? Was it net 1 success or net 2?
For organising everybody, I think it was net 2, because I spent all willpower.
Fair. So, for net 2 successes.
Depends, extras anything, or?
Only if you have a specialty. Which I'm guessing you didn't from your dice pool. You are able to convince 2 of the local regulars to take up arms in your defence, as well as the rest of the party, which means we won't charge a courage test to Ollie, even though he's not seen the monsters.
Can I be stood with my pistol beside my tripoded camera, pointing at the door?
Well, the shattered former shell of the doorway, but sure.
Yeah, it's barricaded now, right?
I think you hauled automobiles outside of it.
Well,
so you barricaded it as quickly as you could.
The dog we saw earlier.
Yep.
Did it look feral? Did it look like a hunting dog? Did it look like a house dog?
If you didn't know better, what's your animal care at?
He doesn't at all.
It didn't
I do
look like a
have
dog.
etiquette, though. Leadership. I'm from a
No,
noble background.
with zero animal ken, it didn't look like a dog.
It didn't look like a dog. Oh, okay, I see.
It was definitely like a canid of some kind, but it didn't look
Canine
like
of some
it didn't look like any dog you'd ever seen.
It's not a nice way to talk about terriers.
Whoa. What do, folks? The howling outside grows nearer and nearer and nearer.
Yeah, I'm going to get on the other side of the bar with a rifle and
Sorry, you go.
I was just saying, I'd crouch down to use the bar as much as cover as well as a rifle rest.
I'd like to find the best piece of cover that gives me the best vantage point, so I can see every entrance and so forth, or as many entrances as possible.
I'm going to pour myself another pint.
Holding
Popajack
dead
kicks.
center in the room, pointing towards the door.
Popajack kicks a lot more arse in his youth than he did as
He really
a
does.
cripplingly nude, elderly, frostbitten man.
I'm going to pour myself another pint and then grab a rifle.
He's still in war mode. He's angry at the world. He is driven right now. When he's elderly, he's all out of gas. He's just pottling along. I'll die eventually.
I think you'll find this side of the Atlantic. It's a petrol. He's all out of petrol. Anywho, I would like intelligence over firearms from yourself, please, young Nicholas, as Holburn Twite starts pouring, by my count, his third pint of the last couple of minutes.
Is that over firearms?
Furiously necking. Yes, intelligence over firearms. We'll call it Div 6.
Okay, cool.
Can I be...
3.
Can I attempt to get the barman to give me as many bottles of not necessarily good stuff, but the strong stuff as he can,
I think
and start turning them into
So, unfortunately, two things. One, I think he actually disappeared not just behind the bar, but into the back some time ago. And two, I think you actually predate the origin of the Molotov cocktail. Let me double check.
Yeah, I suppose we do. Yeah, because Molotov's not a thing yet. Well, he is a thing.
Yeah, he's a thing, but it's the Winter War, right?
He's a low-level Bolshevik. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, not the Winter War before that. Not that far before that. Yeah, the Molotov cocktail is not in widespread use at this point. I'm not going to say that no one would have it, but it's not a thing that people are aware of generally or culturally.
Hardly fair.
Yeah, not for another 20, 30 years.
Yeah, it won't be till the USSR invades Finland. It's actually a slightly hilarious origin story. Basically, the Russians were bombing the shit out of Finland, but Molotov, the foreign political commissar for the USSR, repeatedly kept telling everyone else, "No, we're not bombing Finland. They're food supplies we're dropping. They're meals to the starving Finns." And the Finnish response was to say, "Oh yeah, these things that we're lobbing back at the Russians, those aren't bombs. Those are cocktails to go with the food they're giving us." And that's the etymology of the Molotov cocktail, which I think is fucking hilarious.
That's brilliant.
I always thought it was it's named in honor of him, but no, it's named in spite of him, which is...
Fuck you.
Yeah, it's deeply funny. In a, crippling savageries of war type of a way.
A crippling do not fuck with the Finns kind of way.
That's just a general truism.
Especially when they're hopped up on meth.
They did lose the Winter War.
Well, did they?
Well, yeah, they lost a shit ton of territory. They remained independent. But anywho, pace. So, by my count, then, I think everyone's positioned themselves action-wise, other than Reginald Foxley Smythe, and that's only to be fair because he's slightly outpacing the history. What are you doing then, Benji, if you can't do Molotov cocktail shenanigans?
I can make you a Molotov cocktail if you like.
I guess if anyone's qualified.
That's true. Case, no. I will be... How much ammo could I have grabbed for the elephant gun? It, filling my pockets, I suppose, but... they're big bullets. They're really big bullets.
Yeah, I think you fill your pockets, right? So you've got enough conceivably for a firefight or so.
Right.
Maybe more than that if you conserve ammunition. Depends how long it goes on for.
In which case, I would like to turn swiftly, apologise to the gentleman surrounding me, but then I will, shock horror, remove my jacket and my bow tie, and I will place the bullets on the counter, ready for use, to be easily slammed in.
I'm not gonna lie, for a second, I thought you were just going to be like, I'm sorry, gentlemen, I may be gone some time, and then just walk out the front door.
Bring it on!
Ripples of suppressed gasps from the noble members of the party as you dishonour yourself with your inadequate garb in front of
Oh no, I can't do that! I can't do that!
Yeah, can't you? You've got a flaw, right?
Yeah, if I do that, I'll get +3 to all difficulty. I can't do it. I'm going to have to do this in full dress.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God, that's when I thought you couldn't be any toffier.
You go to take your bow tie away to excuse yourself on the name of practicality, but a little voice in the back of your head, perhaps the voice of your finishing school teacher, perhaps the voice of your first master, declares that would not be decorous.
But what would Victoria think? What would Her Majesty think?
What would Her Majesty think? Let's not be altogether too familiar here. Bow tie stays on, jacket stays on. There are members of the nobility present.
In which case, I would then turn again and offer to the captain my hip flask. Sir, I feel you will need this.
Me, is it?
Indeed, sir. I always keep a tot of the good stuff, just in case.
I look down at my missing arm, like pistol in one hand, look at it like, I think my hands are a bit full right now.
Well, wouldn't feel
Maybe
right
later.
to keep it wouldn't feel right to keep him for myself.
Thank you very much.
From outside, off and to the right, there's a growl. A low, rhythmic growl. A growl that reverberates up, 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 starting at the very base of your spines. A deep, primal terror wells up within you. The sound of infinite murders. Of uncounted ancestors sacrificed beneath blood-red skies and the primordial, horrible god. Guns begin to tilt naturally towards the right, facing the source of the horror.
I start tilting my gun towards the left. I ain't going right.
I'll take a permanent willpower check, please, Ollie. Diff 7.
I think he was making a joke about being communist.
I was, yes.
You know what, in that case, I'll allow it. That seems deep-seated. Completely flew by me there.
Can I be paranoid that it's just a distraction because, we heard two distinct growls?
That's entirely fair, and in that instance, I will take the permanent willpower.
The rest of the people who were in the pub.
Two-sided with you per Popejack's roll. One is just cowering in terror.
My curse, it takes, per level of curse, a round to prepare, and then I can discharge it. Can I hold it once it's charged up? Or do I have to release it immediately?
I think you have to release it immediately, I'd say.
No context quotes.
Also,
what was the diff?
Diff 7.
Hey, one successor.
Okay, so Sebastian Thornbury and Holburn Twite, your guns drift left as everyone else, instinctively, but almost unconsciously, drifts right. About as you do, and about as the two of you process that, the windows on the left-hand side of the pub shatter, exploding inwards in a flurry of glass that lacerates one of the two pub-goers with a gun. They scream, whirling to bring their rifle to bear, perhaps in reflex, perhaps in some active, ironclad desire to defend themselves. When a howling monstrosity from out of the darkest nights of mankind's history bursts in through the window, snatching their head up in its jaws, and dashes out. You have a split second, the two of you who course-corrected. If there's anything you'd like to do.
I'll pop a shot.
Yeah, I'll take Dex Firearms Diff 8, please. And Ollie?
Yeah, I'll do Dex Firearms as well.
Cool. Ollie, you've got an Enfield, right? Carl, what are you on?
I took one of the rifles, whatever it is, that was handed out.
We'll just say 2 Enfields for the sake of ease.
Yeah. I mean, I missed anyway, so it doesn't matter.
So this is not a very good roll because I've not got enough. Then, what did I do?
8.
I do not make it. Though I do, because I have actually put into my firearms as rifles. And so that counts as double success. So I do make it.
You have 4 dots of rifles?
I have 3 dots in firearms. And
you need 4 to select specialty, I'm afraid.
Oh, do you? I thought you needed...
Yeah.
No,
well, okay.
3 is ghosts.
Ah, fuck. Okay.
Oh, well, sorry, I say ghosts. 3 is wraith.
Okay. No,
it's 4
for
BTM.
Anyway, so that's fine.
So, Holburn, your shot hits, but it just seems to... It doesn't ping straight off, but it sinks in with nary an effect. The beast keeps going, unperturbed. And I believe the same situation applies to the Sebastian Thornbury there. Is that correct, Carl?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, both of your shots find their mark. Both of your shots are utterly ignored. The monster comes, snatches its prey, smashes out the next window. The corpse doesn't make the full journey. Goring itself on the smashed glass, being hauled and then torn, all but in 2. Shredded, until the legs, hips, and a good chunk of spine fall backwards into the pub, utterly dismembered. The closest pub dweller, the final one without a gun, collapses backwards, ceasing their gibbering and fear, and just stops talking, staring intently at their knees, unable to process anything, curled into an upright fetal position.
Can I go over to that person and slap them as hard as I can in the face?
Yeah, sure. You get absolutely no response. They are catatonic. You served in the war. You've seen shell shock. They are shell-shocked. There's nothing you can do for them.
I will drag them out of harm's way then, behind the bar, and pour another pint and put the pint glass down in front of them.
Everyone else will do.
Snap a picture of that window and the half corpse.
You're going to run out of plates at this rate.
I'd like to prep so that as soon as I see one of the beasts enter this time, I want to curse it.
The knights have seen... Can I do a perception check to see where the beast landed after jumping through the window?
Yeah, I will take... Perception athletics, please. Diff 5 to get an idea of that.
Ooh. Oh, wait, I'll let you finish though.
That is 4 degrees of success.
By your best modelling, it jumped in with a single stride. It looks like it grabbed the unfortunate local with incredible ease on its way in and then bounded out immediately. It didn't even really stop to dismember its prey, just grabbed it, hauled it with it, and assumed that simple act would cause its utter devastation, which, to be fair, it did.
In which case, can I then move behind the bar, grab a whole bunch of glasses and scatter them around where I think the likely place it would land if it went through the same window and the other window. So basically just scattering glass around the likely landing points for anything jumping through one of the 2 windows.
Okay, so everyone's pulled back behind the bar, as I understand it, and you're like...
I'm still in the middle with the camera.
Apart from Woodrow Tango, and you are just lobbing glasses where you think from that, which is a very broad area, the beast is likely to be.
Is the bar the best vantage?
Yes.
Cool. Sorry, I just wanted to clarify. What was that, Nicholas?
Is the bar the best vantage point then? Like seeing all the entrances and exits and so forth.
Depends.
The reason I went behind the bar was that's where the glass was.
Yeah, if it comes from through the wall behind the bar, then no, it wouldn't be the best vantage point. It's more that you're staying away from the windows at the moment. Meanwhile, yeah, sure, Reginald Foxley Smythe. That's what you're on. I will take perception. It shouldn't really be firearms. Perception survival, I guess. Diff 7, please.
Well, this roll is going on before the moment has passed. Could I possibly argue a point of willpower back? Regain a point of willpower anytime you adhere to one of your previously espoused positions, and it proves a wise course of action. In conjunction with my paranoia, because it was the right call, but it came through the other window as it was a distraction.
That is entirely fair. That was a correct call. Your paranoia stayed you true. That will be a point of willpower for you, sir.
Thank you.
Skeptical. Oh, no, he's correct. Yes. 2 successes from Reginald Foxley Smythe, by my count. Yeah, you begin hucking glasses out. Oh, fair. You begin hucking glasses out with a speed and a fury born of someone knowing that the upper class is in danger, and you must do everything you can to save them. Up to and including lay down your life, but before that there are a lot of glasses you could smash.
I'll point my camera at one of the locations he's done the set. I'll say the one that's not smashed a window yet. Or not a smashed window yet.
Yeah, so it'd be the right-hand sort of bubble of the pub.
Sure.
And then, I think just to finish off the session, all 5 of you hear an almighty crash. A crash from upstairs.
Buggeration. I knew it.
The first floor of the pub. And that feels like a good spot to leave it.
Damn.
So all of you are aware I'm just going to set the place on fire next session.
We got to get all of them if we set it on fire.
I got a quick question. When you get 4 pips, is it an automatic specialization, or you have to buy the specialization?
Technically you buy it, but in practice I think we give you your first one free.
Oh.
And if it's in Gen, then it should have been for free anyway.
Ah, yeah, I did do that. Whoops.
I didn't do any specialization.
I didn't go higher than 3 on anything.
I have a lot of occult, but I took all of my occult knowledge in vampires, not werewolf.
I don't know what you mean. What is a werewolf?
A wargwolf.
What is a werewolf?
Clearly, this is some kind of strange vampire.
How many tips did you say you have in occult for vampire again? Because I don't think you have that many.
4.
If you think this is a vampire, I doubt where you studied.
Yeah, take that, commoner. Sorry, I'm just setting up the text files. I didn't set these up previously. Carry on. Cool. Reminders for next session. Does anyone have anything they want noted down?
Werewolf smashed through upstairs, or big crash upstairs.
Fair. Anything else?
Carl hasn't tried fire yet.
I was going to say immediate instinct to burn the place down.
Yeah, I love that the party member who has the Insta YOLO card, that just the ability to bug out, is currently stood out in the open with broken glass being lobbed around them constantly.
That's one thing I was meaning to ask. With the doorway, is it the same doorway we have to use, or can another one be made from the other side?
I forget the exact wording of the power. I think you have to use the same doorway.
Oh yeah, he can just enter the Shadowlands, can't he?
Well, I was thinking if I could put it in a doorway and just lure the thing in and then just close the door, I could deal with one.
What, kind of like bullfighter red sort of dangly do?
Yeah. Don't charge me, I dare you. Whoop. Shut the door. Worry about that later.
I twitch in meta.
I mean, if you set Benji somewhere, he has someone charge towards them, they step out the side, and then just elephant gun it as it's right next to the fucking door. It's going flying into that door.
Any other reminders for next session?
We still have one person who could function as bait.
Who's that?
The one remaining.
Yeah, the punter.
Oh, yeah.
The one who's not one of us.
Technically, the PDA's... oh no, he's the one you're talking about, because the one's dead, isn't he? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there were two who were active and one who's currently PTSD'd. The other one who's active and alive, I don't think he's going to be willing to serve as bait, but I guess you can maybe force him out. You did give him a gun, but what's he going to do?
No, not the one who's got a gun. The one who's currently PTSD'd.
Fair. Any other reminders for next session?
High-pitched whistle might work.
I'm not going to put that down for many reasons. Any other reminders?
Front door is smashed and lightly barricaded.
Heavily barricaded. It's 2 cars. Our engineer was amazing.
You did get the engineer to sort that. Shame about the rest of the exits and entrances, but you did get the engineer to sort that. As best as it could be.
As far as we currently know, there are 2 more, but we can't be sure that there's only 2 more.
Fair. Anything else? Cool. In that case, feedback. Anything you liked, anything you disliked, anything you'd like to see more of or less of next time. Holy fuck, is it nice to have a version of Sorceress that isn't weird bullshit.
Yet.
Yeah, true. I don't mind weird bullshit, right? I like weird bullshit in my settings. I don't like weird bullshit in my rules. Jank? Sure. My tolerance for bullshit there is pretty high. But Sorcerers was another level. Only campaign I've ever had to switch rulebooks midstream. In some years of GMing.
Yeah, what was it that caused that?
The rules were more or less completely incomprehensible and we couldn't figure out what a load of them did.
It's because wasn't first edition... Was it first edition Sorcerers or second edition Sorcerers?
We used a combination of first and second edition Sorcerers because they have different sets of content which doesn't completely overlap.
Yeah, but it's like we had to get involved with Mage and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. It's like, this is
there was so much
unplayable.
We required like 5 to 6 rule books just for core play, and it was bullshit.
Yeah, screw that.
Yeah, exactly, right? Like, we're currently on 2, which are designed to more or less work with each other, and an optional one for some special powers and talents and traits. That's fine. Or not even talents and traits, fucking merits and flaws. I remember what things are called.
And even then, like, the Ghost Hunters and the Hunters Hunted 2 are pretty small rule books.
Not wrong. Well, because they're designed as extensions, right? Whereas Sorcerers was like half designed as an extension, but doesn't really work very well as one because it's also half designed to work by itself, but also only with its Any other feedback?
I like the combination of ambience and pace. Like it started as very I say dreary, Sleepy Hollow. Like it's going to be a slow build up towards like big, and then just like out the gate.
I'm glad.
Yeah, I liked it.
How did people find the difficulty? Because Benji requested Hammer House of Horror, so I'm trying to lean into that.
Well, I was expecting like American Werewolf in London, where it's like, don't wander off on the moors, not dog soldiers. Oh God, they're coming through the windows.
What's a good movie?
It is an excellent movie, but again, I was like, when I suggested Hammer House of Horror, like, don't get me wrong, I like this a lot. This is really good, but I was expecting, like, don't go on the moors. All the people drinking in the pub, like, don't go outside.
Okay, so I've never seen Dog Soldiers, I'm afraid. You weren't supposed to get this much activity this early on, but things happened.
We killed.
I shot the werewolf, wasn't it?
Well, I reckon if we'd probably just stayed quiet in the pub, we might have been all right.
Yeah.
You were like, that might be our car. One out, all out.
We went outside, killed the thing, and then its friends have come over.
I can neither confirm nor deny the accuracy of any of these statements.
Threaten the property of the most ancient and noble Order of the Hat, and I, as a proud and loyal batsman of that organisation, will not allow harm to come to the assets of said.
As a player, I'm like, yeah, no, these things could just kill us. But then as Poper Jack, I'm just like, looks like a good hunt. Let's go.
So we're trying to run a little bit by like almost Call of Cthulhu style, right? Which is generally I'm going to try and be harsh but fair. So if you go into dangerous situations, I'm not going to pull punches, and you might get one shot pretty easily. Even those of you who should survive for plot reasons.
I know we can do that.
But if you play things smart, then generally I think you should be fine unless you get really unlucky, is my philosophy. I'm going to keep trying to carry on with that. Do let me know if I overstep, and obviously your feedback is always valued and appreciated. Thanks, y'all. Questions? Anything anyone was narratively unsure of in that session? Is everyone following the plot? Cool. Sounds like it. Such as it is. Okay. Let's do some exploit. Yeah. So this is technically session number 31 if we count from sorcerers. Plot progression. Does anyone feel like you made any significant plot progression this session? And if so, what?
Yes.
First-hand experience of the monsters? Of a monster?
We have accurately ascertained that it's not just things going weird. Shit is definitely going down.
Yeah.
What was it that gave it away? The howls or the giant dog monsters?
Fair. Anything else? Okay. Character development. Does anyone feel they developed their characters this session? And if so, how?
Solidified Sebastian's paranoia.
I mean, yeah, Jesus.
I became very left-wing.
Is it paranoia if you now know there are monsters out to get you?
Well, there's say that, but I haven't really vocalized it too much. But it's more subtly in the way that the Order is out to get me, sending me here to this place. They're trying to get me killed.
It really puts a lot of Poperjack's risky plays in context later on, wandering naked through city streets filled with horrifying combative vampires.
Yeah, I think it's his behaviour's solidifying his future self, but also it's revealing that he used to be a lot more kind of up his own arse, I think. He's very... I'm better than most people. I am an officer. He's angry. It's really kind of coming together, at least for the character, I think.
Listen here, I don't care who you are, be you German, alleged werewolf, or naturist vampire. I will fix bayonets and I will stab you. For Queen, King, and Country.
Oh, sandwich! Oh, sandwich! Oh, sandwich!
Yeah, that's the point. It seems like beer is becoming our internal currency as well.
We're gonna have a boot full of beer.
We cannot have another campaign where our sole objective is acquire sandwiches.
I am not sure that my fucking reputation at work can recover from another fucking sandwich malarkey palaver. Any extra character development?
I thought I was establishing myself as investigating paranormal where I can, and I love taking pictures so far.
Oh, wait, hold up, Werewolf, let me get a selfie real quick.
Yeah.
The dream.
Sorry, it's just... cool, excellence of roleplay. Does anyone feel like anyone else roleplay particularly well this session? And if so, how?
Wait.
Stop reacting, your Nicholas. I refuse. You've had your joke. It is now November. Shut the fuck up.
It's still just funny.
Excellence of roleplay.
Benji's batsman, pretty much always on point there. And Creed's say investigative nature, it's the equivalent. I see it as war journalists and photographers. I don't give a shit that shells are going off around me. I will get this best pic.
Fair.
I think Powell's RP of his just pure paranoia and fear is just coming across really well in all situations.
To say, I'm not sure, insofar as character-wise, the motivations for it. But Ollie's kind of just yep, nope, fuck this. I was not prepared for it. I, have never really experienced anything like this before. I'm just going to pretend it doesn't exist until it, hits me in the face.
He's dealt with tanks. He's seen people blown up in front of him. He's seen horrific things. But he's never heard that before. And if you imagine he is the archetypical slow, steady, silent type. Okay. So it's very much not a problem until it is a problem, and then that problem only really exists once it's inside the room.
Okay. In that case, I make that out to be 8 experience points for session number 31. That's a single point of plot progression for confirming that there is something weird happening, definitely, which, to be fair, was not necessarily a given. You could have just stayed inside the fucking pub. 3 points of character development. That's Sebastian's paranoia, Holburn radicalizing as a communist, Woodrow prioritizing the job and evidence at all costs. 3 points excellence of roleplay. Plus 3 points excellence of roleplay. That's Benji's Batman voice, Woodrow's investigative nature at all costs, Thornbury's growing fear, and Holburn Twite refusing to engage in danger more than the minimum necessary. Plus 1 standard.
Where do we put XP on this sheet?
I use the experience.
Let me realize.
If you scroll down, there's a
points.
I really remember.
It's just a big text box.
There's also a note section if you go across at the top.
Yeah, I'm actually taking notes this campaign. See how long it was.
Yeah, I know, you've been pretty good with notes last few campaigns. Which brings us on to everyone's favourite part of the session. It's the highlights. Young Nicholas, do you have any highlights for that session?
Hundiculous. That's what I call Nick in my head.
You can make a barricade out of cars, right?
Okay. Anything else?
One shot, that's all it takes. Even though I did 0 work for it.
You did shoot it in the back of the neck.
Benji did most of the damage.
Benji got 2 pretty well-placed, very difficult elephant gun shots off, yes. Ain't no party like a kill steal party.
You get a gun, everyone gets a gun!
I cannot do hyphens. Would you settle for everyone gets a gun?
Yes. I hope this isn't the hyphen. Cursed for a year, dies within seconds. That'll do.
Fair. I mean, to be fair, you did at least put it on a good spot on the roof. The curse factored in.
Oh, really? I was really worried it did nothing.
You did get 6 successes. I'm not just going to burn it.
Nice, thank you.
Not if I can help it. That would be really invalidating.
Looks like Skyrim's getting a board game, by the way.
Oh my god.
Jesus Christ, how many more platforms are they going to release that fucking game on?
I mean, they released it on for Pen and Paper RPG earlier this year, late last year.
Yeah, but now coming, was on paper, now on cardboard.
Yeah, I for one look forward to Skyrim Cards Against Humanity, to really, really connect the 2 halves of the cultural zeitgeist for what's relevant in this. Anywho, Benji, do you have any highlights for that session?
White Blanca smiling at me. What can you say?
From American Werewolf in London to Rourke's Drift in 30 seconds.
Okay, in Lond, The Londs?
Not again. I knew they'd be back one day.
Someday. Oh, I should put them in for the Great Crusade. No spoilers. Any other highlights, Benji?
Because he's not Bertie Wooster because he's not obsessed with cricket, but Creed's sort of dotty adventure photographer.
Yeah, Woodrow is way, way less smart than Bertie Wooster. Woodrow is like one of Bertie Wooster's, the people Bertie Wooster went to school with, where they're all too cripplingly inbred to process when bad things are happening around them because they're so obsessed with their single personality trait. Sorry, I really like that show. Could you reiterate your highlight for me?
Bad things can't possibly happen to me. I'm taking a photograph.
Fair. Anything else?
Protect the car at all costs.
I mean, no one could accuse you of not doing that. It's got a lot more protection this time than last time. Anything else? Must be fair, you weren't exactly slouches last time.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Anything else?
It's a different kind of safari hunt.
Or hunting dogs.
More the Batman does all the good shooting, and then young Nicholas is just like, ah yes, a trophy for my wall.
Pops in with the Webley. Kadonk. Anything else?
Army officer has to be reminded he's an army officer.
Did he?
Yeah, there was that whole bit where it was like, I'm just going to hand out some guns. Like, sir, maybe you should take charge and use all that army officer training to,
I don't think
take command of the situation.
That's not how I remember that happening. I'm pretty sure he said he grabbed the guns outside, and then the second he ran inside, the first thing he did was distribute them with not distribute. He went to command people to do things. Then you went to distribute them for him.
No, Benji did have to remind me, at least as a player.
Fair, okay, I don't remember that, but carry on. Alright, so what was the highlight
again?
again?
Do army officer things.
Oh yeah, army officer has to be remembered to army. Remembered? Reminded. Anything else?
No, I think that's everything.
Cool. Ollie, do you have any highlights for that session? And also, did you finish Jenny, your character?
No, because I have a question to ask you, but I've not got much more to do now.
Okay.
Any highlights? Classism in cars. Or car-based classism.
Yeah.
Three members of the nobility, one incredibly Tory butler, and a communist get in a car. Who sits in the passenger seat? Any other highlights, Ollie?
The man who works for a living.
Is it the butler? Yeah, so the class-traitor butler who dropped my shit. It was intentional. Oh, that reminds me, I need a reminder for next session. Stand on the butler's foot.
Okay, I will add it.
What? Why?
Because you dropped my shit. You Tory
It's not
son.
like you did it on purpose.
No one can prove that. Not the thing. Any other highlights, Ollie?
The party immediately makes my character turn hard left.
Fair. Anything else?
Nothing swings to mind now.
Fair. Creed, do you have any highlights for that session?
Sebastian lights up anytime, anywhere.
That was impressive. Both the skill and also Carl panicking in almost record time. Any other highlights?
I didn't think it was good learning for it. Just Reginald's dash for the elephant gun.
Fair. Regilands, that's not how you spell that, Ewan.
Old Reginald.
Anything else?
That was it for me. I think that's
Cool.
covered.
And Carl, do you have any highlights for that session?
Arguing entirely through eyebrows.
Ah, the subtleties and intricacies of the British class system. Anything else?
Stealing all the luck.
That you fucking did.
Oh, it's so beautiful.
I mean, I was really enjoying watching the fucking amount of willpower getting thrown down left, right, and centre. People just refusing to take risk, which, fair. When you're rolling diff 8, chuck a willpower down if it's clearly your character's life at risk.
I had 2 dice on a lot of rolls.
Yeah.
Couple.
Let's have a look.
Would you all be offended if I told you I was taking it lightly easy on you?
No, that seems reasonable. I mean, these are fucking werewolves.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Meta-knowledging, even with the elephant gun, hurting those things is so fucking difficult. We're rolling Old World of Darkness, aren't we?
Yes.
Yeah, hurting those things is so fucking difficult.
Allegedly. Any other highlights, Carl?
Come on, Cat. I don't have a good way of saying it, but if anyone can suggest something, I'll quite happily go for it. But Milk getting dragged out the window.
Fuck, I don't have anything either.
What you call window shopping?
You fucking dick.
That's yes.
I just had the idea of, woo, not me!
So far. Now to play an enticing game of how do I pace the encounter so half the campaign doesn't take place in the same fucking pub. Any other highlights, Carl?
We're safe here. Everything will come to us, right?
You got
Only got so much ammo, though.
If we ignore it, they'll go away.
We have 3 cars. The engineer can make ammunition out of that, right?
It's not how that works ever, or has worked ever. Any other highlights, Carl?
There was one, but I completely forgot.
Fair. I don't have a good suggestion, I'm afraid. I'm thoroughly de-highlighted.
I can't remember.
Ah, well, not that important. Okay, in that case, thank you all for a very, by my count, if we're assuming sorcerers is the start, entertaining session number 31.
Whoa.
Does anyone have any final words for the recording?
How much XP did we get?
Oh, fuck, did I not announce that?
No,
8.
8.
Oh, 8.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Window shopping.